This video is about the mom walked into the subway station and a rich stranger offered to carry her bag. If this story touches your heart, please mention where you are watching from in the comments. Please like the video and share your thoughts in comments. The morning air in Manhattan had a crispness that spoke of early autumn. Leaves began to fall, swirling in colors of gold and crimson as they danced along the sidewalk. Claudia pressed her lips together, feeling the delicate weight of her son's backpack hanging from her shoulder. She adjusted her grip, ensuring her daughter Anna's hand remained firmly in hers. "Don't let go, honey, okay?" Claudia said, glancing down at her 4-year-old, who was busy watching the leaves tumble past her feet with wide eyes. "Okay, mommy." Anna chirped, her blonde curls bouncing with each step. With a quick tug, Claudia pulled Anna closer as they approached the entrance to the subway station. As they descended the steps, the sound of the city faded, replaced by the rhythmic roar of trains echoing in the cavernous space. Claudia glanced around, scanning the throngs of people bustling past, each lost in their own worlds, phones in hand, earbuds snugly fitted. "Do you see the trains, Mommy?" Anna's voice broke through her thoughts, drawing Claudia's attention back. "Yes, sweet pea, we'll catch the next one." She tried to sound cheerful, but the flickering anxiety in her chest nagged at her. The morning rush was always chaotic, and today was no different. Claudia shifted the weight of the bag again, feeling the stitch in her shoulder deepen. It was a blend of groceries and the remnants of Anna's overnight essentials from their last-minute sleepover at her friend's house. She sighed softly, wishing she hadn't let her friend convince her to join the playdate. As they approached the platform, Claudia caught sight of a man leaning against a pillar, engrossed in his phone. He wore a tailored navy suit, crisp white shirt, and a rich charcoal overcoat that hung effortlessly on his broad shoulders. His dark hair was slightly tousled, and there was an air of confidence about him that made her pause. "Mummy, look." Anna tugged her hand, pointing at the brightly colored advertisements plastered on the walls. Just then, Claudia felt a presence next to her. Startled, she turned to find the man now standing beside her, his expression shifting from absorbed to attentive. "Excuse me," he said, his voice smooth like velvet, "but would you like some help with that?" He motioned to her bag, which had slipped down her arm. Claudia hesitated, caught off guard. She wasn't used to offers of help, especially not from someone who looked like he just stepped out of a fashion magazine. "Oh, it's okay, I can manage." But even as she said it, she felt the exhaustion in her bones. "I insist," he replied, his eyes twinkling with genuine kindness. "I'd hate to see you struggle, especially with her in tow." He nodded toward Anna, who was now captivated by a train approaching in the distance. Claudia glanced at her daughter, then back at him. There was a warmth in his gaze that put her at ease. Perhaps it was the weariness that softened her resolve, or maybe his demeanor was simply disarming. "All right then, thank you." She relented, shifting the bag into his hands. He adjusted the bag as if it weighed nothing, his muscles flexing subtly beneath the fabric of his coat. "I am Oliver," he said, extending a hand, his grip firm yet gentle. "Claudia," she replied, her cheeks warming slightly as their hands touched. It felt like a small spark ignited between them, something unexpected. "Nice to meet you, Claudia, and this lovely little lady must be Anna." He crouched slightly, a friendly smile spreading across his face as he addressed Anna directly. "Yes." Anna beamed, her shyness quickly dissipating under Oliver's genuine attention. "I saw a train, it is so big." "That is right, but did you know trains can be even bigger? Some are so long they could stretch all the way from here to the next station." Oliver continued, engaging Anna with an enthusiasm that made Claudia's heart swell with gratitude. As they chatted, Claudia couldn't help but notice the way Oliver's eyes sparkled when he spoke to her daughter. It was endearing and made her wonder if he had kids of his own. "Do you have children?" she asked, curiosity threading through her words. "No, not yet," he replied, glancing up at her. A flicker of something unspoken passed between them, an understanding, perhaps. "But I've always loved kids. They see the world so differently, don't you think?" Claudia nodded, her heart swelling with admiration. "They really do. Anna is always finding magic in the mundane." Anna interrupted, her little voice chiming in, "Like when I found a ladybug in the garden." "Exactly." Oliver chuckled, shooting Claudia a conspiratorial glance. "There is beauty everywhere if you're really willing to look for it." A train screeched to a halt in front of them, the doors opening with a whoosh. The crowd surged forward, and Claudia felt a moment's panic as she realized they would need to navigate the sea of commuters with her daughter in tow. "Here, let me." Oliver shifted the bag to his other shoulder and took Anna's hand effortlessly, guiding them through the throng. Claudia followed closely, barely keeping up with his long strides. "Thank you, really," she managed, breathless as they reached the train. "I don't know how I would have managed." "It is no trouble at all," he replied, his eyes glinting with an easy charm. "I am just glad I could help. You seem like you have a lot on your plate." Claudia is half fluttered at the genuine concern in his voice. "It is just a busy morning. Life with kids is always an adventure, isn't it?" "Adventure is one way to put it," he laughed. "I can only imagine the stories you must have." As they settled into their seats on the train, Oliver remained next to them, the bag resting comfortably at his feet. Claudia felt a swell of warmth in her chest as he leaned slightly towards them, giving them his full attention. Anna, oblivious to the chemistry sparking between her mother and the stranger, began chatting animatedly about her plans for the day, her excitement spilling over as she explained her favorite toys and the games they played. Claudia found herself captivated, not only by her daughter's exuberance, but also by how effortlessly Oliver engaged with her. He listened intently, asking questions that drew out Anna's laughter, igniting her imagination. "Do you think we could build a castle out of blocks?" Anna asked, her eyes bright with possibility. "Absolutely, and every castle needs a dragon to protect it. I could help you find some epic dragons," Oliver replied, his tone enthusiastic. "Mommy, can we build a dragon?" Anna turned to Claudia, her eyes pleading. Claudia felt a familiar tug of conflict in her chest. She wanted to say yes, but was painfully aware of the schedule. "Maybe after school, sweetheart. We need to focus on our day first." Anna's face fell slightly, her disappointment evident. "Okay." Oliver quickly jumped in. "But maybe I could help you with the dragon. What if we met here again, and I brought dragon stickers?" The idea lit up Anna's face, and Claudia couldn't help but smile at the sweet exchange between them. "That sounds wonderful, Oliver," she said, her voice warm. "Great, then it is a date," he said, a playful glint in his eyes as he glanced at Claudia. "What is a date without a dragon?" A spark danced in the air between them, an electric tension that made Claudia's breath catch, just for a moment. She fought back a smile, feeling a rush of warmth that had nothing to do with the morning chill. But then the reality of her situation hit her. She was a single mom, and while Oliver seemed charming, their lives were likely on entirely different paths. Would he even be interested in someone like her? Self-doubt crept in, shattering the moment's light. As the train continued on its journey, Claudia wrestled with her thoughts. She didn't want to overthink it, but couldn't help feeling an urge to protect herself and Anna. Yet here was Oliver, offering kindness and warmth, a breath of fresh air in her hectic life. The subway rattled on, the city moving above them, while in that small, enclosed space, something new began to unfurl, an unexpected connection amid the chaos of their lives. As the train jolted forward, Claudia felt her heartbeat quicken. The warm scent of coffee mingled with the faint metallic tang of the subway, creating a familiar backdrop of city life. She stole a glance at Oliver, who was now animatedly listening to Anna's latest story about her imaginary dragon. "His name is Sparkle, and he can breathe fire and make it rain candy." Anna's eyes sparkled with excitement, her little hands flailing about as she illustrated her narrative. Oliver chuckled, his laughter rich and infectious. "I am sure Sparkle would be the most popular dragon in the kingdom. Rain candy? He'd have all the kids lining up for miles." Claudia felt a smile tug at her lips. There was something so effortlessly charming about Oliver, how he engaged with Anna as if they had known each other for ages. Yet beneath her delight, a flicker of anxiety wormed its way through her thoughts. Was it too soon to feel this connection? How does Sparkle make the candy rain? Oliver prompted, leaning in closer, drawing Claudia's attention to the way his dark eyes sparkled with curiosity. He flaps his wings really hard until the air is full of candy," Anna exclaimed, her excitement making her words tumble out in a rush. "Of course I should have known," he replied, nodding seriously. "What a powerful dragon he must be." Claudia watched her daughter's joy and felt a pang of longing. She missed carefree moments like this when life was simple, filled with imagination and joy. She hadn't realized how much she craved companionship until Oliver entered their lives, even if it was just for this fleeting subway ride. The train lurched again, and Claudia instinctively reached out, grabbing the pole overhead. Oliver's eyes flicked her, concern etched on his features. "Are you okay?" "Just the train being the train," she replied, forcing a light-hearted smile. "You'd think by now I'd be used to it." "New York's charm is in its unpredictability," he said, a teasing glint in his eye. "Keeps life interesting." She could feel the chemistry simmering beneath the friendly banter, a tension that thrummed in the air between them. But as she caught herself looking too long into his gaze, a wave of doubt crashed over her. "Do you, live around here?" she asked, trying to steer the conversation to safer ground. Oliver nodded, shifting slightly in his seat. "Just a few blocks away. I work in finance, but I try to make the most of my mornings. It's easy to get lost in the numbers." "Finance how?" Claudia resisted the urge to roll her eyes. "Sounds exciting," she said, her voice laced with skepticism. "I bet you see some interesting things." "Oh, you have no idea, but I do trade us all for a day of building block castles," he quipped, turning his attention back to Anna, who was now lost in her own world of fantasy. Despite herself, Claudia felt the corners of her mouth lift. "I get that. I feel like I am constantly juggling work and school pickups that can be exhausting." "Those are the moments that matter, though," he replied softly, his tone shifting to something more sincere. "It is all about balance." Claudia felt her heartbeat quicken as she met his gaze, the connection between them becoming palpable. But just as she felt the warmth spread through her, the train came to a sudden stop, jerking them to a halt. The lights flickered overhead, casting shadows that danced on Oliver's features. "Oh, Mommy!" Anna squealed, gripping her mother's arm. "What happened?" "It is okay, sweetie. Just a stop, I think." Claudia's heart raced, partly from the sudden stop and partly from the electric tension in the air. Oliver's presence felt more intense in that confined space, a magnetic pull she was unwilling to resist. "I've read about subways stopping unexpectedly. Sometimes it is just to let someone off, but let us hope it is quick," Oliver said, his tone light but his eyes held a hint of concern. Claudia nodded, appreciating his calmness. "You sound like you know your way around the city." "It is a necessity when you spend so much time commuting. You start to pick up on the little things," he replied, a hint of admiration lacing his voice. Anna, still buzzing from the excitement, looked up at Oliver. "Do you have any pets?" "Not yet. I travel a lot for work, and I wouldn't want to leave a pet alone," he explained, his gaze drifting to Claudia. "But one day I do love a dog or maybe even a cat." "I want a dog." Anna piped up enthusiastically. "A big one, like a bear." "A bear-sized dog would be a sight to see." Oliver laughed, and Claudia felt a warmth spread through her. This playful rapport with her daughter felt so right. Maybe this was more than just a fleeting moment. The train lurched forward again, the sudden movement causing Claudia to lean slightly into Oliver, their shoulders brushing. A rush of heat coursed through her, and she quickly pulled away, heart racing with a mix of embarrassment and something else entirely. "Sorry," she murmured, her cheeks flushing. "I didn't mean to." "No need to apologize," he said, his gaze steady, filled with an understanding that made her pulse quicken. "It is a tight space." "Right, of course," she replied, feeling the weight of the air shift between them. "Just the subway being the subway." Oliver's brow furrowed slightly, as if he was searching for something to say that would ease the tension. "So, Claudia, what do you do when you're not wrangling a future dragon enthusiast?" She hesitated, unsure how much to reveal. "I work in marketing. It is busy, but I find it fulfilling." "That's impressive. I can imagine the creativity involved." She felt the blush creep up her neck. "It has its moments." Anna, oblivious to the adult tension, leaned forward. "Mommy is really good at making posters for my school. Everyone says so." Claudia smiled, ruffling Anna's curls. "Thanks, Pumpkin. It is just a part of the job." "I think it is magic," Anna declared, her little voice full of conviction. "Magic, huh?" Oliver grinned, his eyes sparkling. "That is even better. What is your secret, Claudia?" A nervous laugh escaped her lips. "Just a lot of caffeine and late nights." "Caffeine is a magical potion," he said, his tone playful yet sincere. "I think it is a common theme among city dwellers." As the train rattled along, Claudia felt the ease of their conversation, an undercurrent of connection shimmering between them. Yet the weight of her reality lingered heavily on her shoulders. "What about you, Oliver? Any hidden talents?" Claudia asked, trying to deflect some of the focus back on him. He paused, a contemplative look crossing his face. "I play a bit of guitar. It is a great way to unwind after a long day." "Really?" Claudia's eyes lit up, curiosity piqued. "That sounds lovely. Do you write your own songs?" "A few, when inspiration hits, mostly cover songs," he replied, a hint of vulnerability in his voice. "I enjoy playing for friends when I get the chance." "I'd love to hear you play sometime," she said before she could stop herself, the words escaping like a secret she hadn't intended to share. His gaze lingered on her, a flash of surprise dancing in his eyes. You might regret that invitation, but I'd be happy to oblige. The train slowed again, pulling into a station, and Claudia felt a pang of disappointment. She didn't want this moment to end. As the doors opened, people surged forward, and the spell broke. "We're at our stop," Claudia said, her heart sinking slightly. "Looks like I'll have to escort you too," Oliver said, rising to his feet with an effortless grace that made it seem almost choreographed. As they stepped off the train, Anna bounced ahead, her energy infectious. Claudia felt Oliver at her side, their shoulders brushing again, this time more deliberate. "Can I ask you something, Claudia?" Oliver said, his voice low, a serious undertone creeping in. "Sure," she replied, curiosity bubbling up inside her. "If it's not too forward, would you like to maybe get coffee sometime?" Claudia's breath caught in her throat. The question hung between them, heavy with unspoken possibilities. "Coffee, like as in a date?" "Yes," he said, his gaze unwavering. "But no pressure. I completely understand if you want to keep it casual." Her heart raced as the world around them faded, the bustling crowd blurring into the background. "I'd like that," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I really would." "Perfect," he grinned, relief washing over his features. "Let us exchange numbers." As they pulled out their phones, a rush of giddiness washed over Claudia. Maybe this was the start. The subway station hummed with life, a chaotic blend of sounds and scents that somehow felt comforting to Claudia. The air was thick with the smell of burnt coffee and the faint aroma of pretzels from a nearby vendor. She stood beside Oliver, her heart fluttering with a mix of anticipation and anxiety as they exchanged numbers. "I got it," Oliver said, glancing down at his phone. "Now I just need to save this in my contacts." He paused. "Would it be okay if I labeled you as Dragon Mom?" A laugh bubbled up inside her, and she shook her head playfully. "That is a little cheesy, don't you think?" His grin widened. "I think it is perfect. It is not every day I meet someone whose daughter has a dragon named Sparkle." Claudia's cheeks warmed at the affectionate nickname. "All right, but only if I get to label you charming stranger." "A deal." He tapped away, and when he looked up, his expression shifted to something softer, more intense. "I am really glad we met today, Claudia. I mean it." The sincerity in his voice sent a shiver down her spine. "Me too, Oliver. It has been unexpectedly nice." Before she could overthink the implications, Anna tugged on her hand, her little face scrunched up in concentration. "Mommy, can we go to the park now?" "Right, let us not keep the dragons waiting," Oliver chimed in, and Anna giggled, her eyes sparkling with delight. Claudia felt a swell of gratitude toward him for making her daughter smile so effortlessly. "Okay, sweet pea, to the park we go," Claudia said, mustering her best mom voice as they walked toward the exit. The late morning sun streamed down, painting the city in golden hues. As they stepped out into the bustling streets, Claudia took a moment to breathe in the crisp autumn air. "Do you come to this park often?" Oliver asked, extending his arm and gesturing for them to walk together. "Not really. We usually hit up the smaller playgrounds around our neighborhood, but I thought today could be special," Claudia replied, her heart warming at the thought of Oliver being part of this special day. "Special is good. I like special," he said. "Especially when it involves spending time with a future dragon queen." "That is true," Anna chimed in, bouncing along the sidewalk. "And it is going to be the best day ever." Claudia couldn't help but smile at her daughter's enthusiasm. Yet beneath that smile, a small voice in her head whispered warnings. What did she know about Oliver? He was a stranger, albeit a charming one. But the allure of that connection gnawed at her, pulling her thoughts in two directions. As they reached the park, vibrant leaves crunched underfoot, adding to the symphony of city sounds. Children laughed and played in the distance, and the atmosphere radiated joy. Claudia watched as Anna darted toward the playground, her laughter echoing through the air. "I'll keep an eye on her," Oliver offered, a reassuring smile on his face. "Why don't you take a moment to breathe? You've earned it." She nodded, grateful for the reprieve. "Thank you," she said, feeling lighter as she settled onto a nearby bench. Watching Anna climb higher on the jungle gym, Claudia felt a mixture of pride and protective instinct. Oliver stood close, his attention shifting effortlessly between Anna's antics and Claudia. It struck her how natural he seemed in this role, yet she couldn't shake the feeling of vulnerability that accompanied this unexpected connection. "Anna has a lot of energy," Oliver noted, leaning against the wooden beam of the playground as he watched her. "She does," Claudia replied, her heart swelling. "It is a blessing and a challenge, to say the least." "I can only imagine. She seems like a handful," he said, chuckling softly. "But a delightful one." Claudia felt a warmth spread through her. Thank you, I try my best to keep up. You're doing a great job, really, he said, his gaze unwavering. I can see how much she loves being around you. The compliment caught her off guard, sending a rush of heat through her cheeks. I appreciate that, it can be tough sometimes. Do you want to talk about it? He asked, his tone shifting to something more serious. I mean, if it is something you feel comfortable sharing. Claudia hesitated. Did she want to bare her soul to a man she barely knew? Still, there was something about his earnestness that made her want to open up. It is just being a single mom has its challenges. I want to give her the world, but I often feel like I am just barely keeping my head above water. Oliver nodded, his expression empathetic. I can imagine, the weight of responsibility is heavy. It is, Claudia admitted, feeling the tension in her shoulders ease slightly. But I wouldn't change it for anything, she estimated everything. I believe you, Oliver replied quietly, his eyes glinting with understanding. Family is important, it shapes who we are. As they exchanged glances, Claudia felt the air between them shift again, the chemistry simmering just beneath the surface. Anna bounded over, her cheeks flushed with excitement. Mommy, can you help me on the slide? Of course, sweetie. Claudia responded, springing to her feet. She turned to Oliver, her heart racing. Will you come too? Wouldn't he miss it for the world, he replied with a grin, following her as they made their way to the slide. Anna climbed up the steps with ease, but Claudia's heart raced as she watched her daughter prepare to launch herself off the edge. Wait, Anna, let me catch you. Okay. Anna beamed, and with a gleeful shout, she slid down, her laughter spilling into the air. Claudia reached out to catch her, but Anna flew past her, landing on the grass with a soft thud. Perfect landing. Oliver cheered, clapping his hands. Claudia chuckled, her heart swelling with pride. Now it is my turn. Oliver called out, racing up the steps after Anna. Claudia felt an unexpected flutter in her chest as she watched him, his movements confident and playful. Ready, set, go, he shouted, and with that, he slid down the slide, landing beside Anna in a dramatic fashion. She erupted into laughter, clapping her hands in delight. See, Mommy, he is super cool, Anna exclaimed, her eyes shining. Claudia bit her lip, a mix of warmth and jealousy stirring within her. Why was she feeling this way? It was just a playful moment, yet the sight of Oliver's connection with Anna tugged at something deep inside her. All right, who us next? Oliver challenged, looking from Claudia to Anna, his expression playful. Mommy, Anna shouted, her voice bright. You have to try. Me? Oh no, there are rules against moms on slides, Claudia teased, although she felt a thrill of excitement at the thought. Rules? Never heard of them, Oliver quipped, amusement dancing in his eyes. Come on, it is fun. Claudia hesitated, battling between wanting to join in and the voice of caution in her head. But seeing Anna's eager face, she decided to let go of her reservations, if only for a moment. Okay then, here I come. She climbed up the steps, feeling the playful energy between them. As she reached the top, she took a deep breath and launched herself down the slide. The wind whipped around her, and she couldn't help but shout with laughter. See, that was awesome. Oliver cheered as she landed beside them. Claudia's heart raced, and for a brief moment, all her worries faded. They were just three people enjoying a sunny day, surrounded by laughter and joy. But as she glanced at Oliver, she felt the weight of her responsibilities settling back in. Okay, my turn to catch my breath, she said, sitting on the grass, the momentary thrill giving way to a hint of reality. Can we build a dragon castle now? Anna asked, her eyes wide with excitement. Of course, we just need some sticks and rocks to create the magic, Claudia said, her heart lightening. Look. Oliver pointed at a nearby tree where fallen twigs lay scattered around. We can use those. Great idea, Anne exclaimed, bouncing on her feet. Claudia watched as they gathered materials, feeling a strange mix of longing and apprehension. She admired, however, to see Oliver engaged with Anna, revealing a side of him that was genuine and warm. But as she worked with them, the underlying tension between her and Oliver loomed heavier in her mind. Do you think Sparkle would like a big castle with a shiny flag? Anna asked, her imagination soaring. Absolutely, every great dragon needs a place to call home, Oliver replied, a playful light in his eyes. Claudia found herself caught up in the moment, but the nagging voice of doubt lingered. As she watched the two of them build their castle, the laughter and joy surrounding them felt like the very essence of what she had been missing. The ease of their connection was undeniable, yet a part of her resisted the allure of him. As they worked together, Claudia tried to shake the feeling of caution that wrapped around her heart. Oliver's effortless charm and ability to connect with Anna only heightened her worries. What if he turned out to be just another fleeting moment in her life, a bright flash that would leave her yearning for more? "Mommy, can you help me build the wall?" Anna's voice broke through her thoughts, pulling her back to the present. "Of course, sweetheart, we need to make it super strong, right?" Claudia replied, shaking off her doubts as she joined them on the grass. The warmth of the sun on her skin felt reassuring, a gentle nudge to embrace the moment. Oliver grinned as he passed her a handful of twigs. "I think we'll all need to fortify the corners," he suggested, demonstrating how to stack them carefully. "Just like in my story, Sparkle has to be safe from the night." Anna chimed in, her little hands arranging the twigs with determination. "Exactly, and we'll all make sure no night can ever get in," Oliver said, his eyes sparkling with enthusiasm, and Claudia felt a rush of warmth flood through her. "Are you always this enthusiastic with kids?" she asked, her voice laced with curiosity. "Only when they're as imaginative as Anna," he replied, casting her a sidelong glance that sent a flutter through her stomach. "There's something special about the way kids view the world, don't you think?" "Yes," Claudia said, her heart pounding slightly. "They find joy in the smallest things." As they continued building, the bond between Oliver and Anna deepened. The little girl chatted endlessly, captivated by Oliver's attention. Claudia watched, heart swelling at the sight. But with every laugh, a flicker of jealousy stirred within her, fearing what it might mean for the future. "Okay, we need a flag," Anna declared suddenly, her eyes wide with excitement. "Can we find something to make it?" Oliver, ever attentive, looked around. "What about that red leaf over there?" He pointed to a vibrant leaf that had fluttered them from a nearby tree. "It would make a perfect flag for Sparkle's castle." Claudia felt a smile tug at her lips. "Good thinking, let us go get it." They all stood up, Anna leading the way, her energy contagious. As Claudia walked beside Oliver, the lightness of their earlier banter was slowly replaced by a more intimate silence. "Do you always take the lead like that?" Oliver asked, his tone playful yet curious. She raised an eyebrow, half smiling. "Are you implying I am bossy?" "Not at all, just assertive," he said, his gaze steady. "Assertive? I prefer to think of it as being a good mother." "Fair enough," he chuckled, glancing at Anna, who was now examining the leaf with intense concentration. "It is admirable, really, you balance a lot." Claudia felt the warmth spread through her at his compliment, but the undercurrent of self-doubt lingered. "It can be overwhelming at times. I am just trying to keep everything together." "I get it. Life has a way of throwing curveballs," he said, his voice dropping to a softer tone. "But you seem to manage it well." "Thank you," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. As they returned to their little makeshift castle, Claudia caught sight of Anna fastening the red leaf to a twig with a proud grin. The innocence in her daughter's joy was a reminder of why she fought so hard every day. "Look, Mommy, it is Sparkle's flag," I announced, holding it up triumphantly. "It is perfect," Claudia replied, feeling a surge of pride for her daughter. Oliver clapped his hands together, beaming. "I think Sparkle would be very happy to have such a strong flag flying over her castle." Claudia felt a soft flutter in her chest, the atmosphere around them electric with the laughter and joy of childhood. But as Oliver's gaze lingered on her, a deeper kind of tension settled in. "Do you ever get tired of it all?" Oliver asked suddenly, his expression earnest. "What do you mean?" Claudia replied, taken aback. "Being a single parent, always juggling work and trying to be everything your daughter needs." Claudia hesitated, biting her lip. "Sometimes, but then I remember that it is worth it. Every smile, every moment, it is worth it." "I admire that," he said, his voice filled with sincerity. "It is not easy." "No, it is not," Claudia admitted, feeling the weight of the conversation. "But I wouldn't trade. Anna is everything." "I can see that," he replied, his gaze softening. "You have a beautiful bond." "Thank you," she said, a wave of warmth enveloping her. But then the moment shifted, a fleeting glance, an unspoken understanding that lingered in the air between them. Claudia felt the tension thrum in her veins, sparking something deep within her that scared and excited her at once. "Mommy, can we play pretend now?" Anna's voice pulled her from the moment, and Claudia felt a sense of relief wash over her. "Of course, Pumpkin, what should we pretend?" "I want to be the dragon," Anna declared, her eyes shining. "And Oliver can be my knight." "Sure thing." Oliver chuckled, his smile genuine. "But I'll need a sword first. Any ideas?" "You can use a stick," Anna exclaimed, racing off to find one. As Anna scrounged around for her imaginary props, Claudia glanced at Oliver, her heart racing. I hope you don't mind playing a knight. Not at all. I've always wanted to be a hero, he said, the playful glint in his eye making her heart skip. Really? A hero? She teased, feeling lighter. Absolutely, especially when it involves a dragon. Claudia laughed, but as she looked at him, she could see a different side of Oliver, one that was tender and sincere behind the charm. You re good with kids. It comes naturally, he shrugged, but she could see the pride in his eyes. I think you just need to let loose a little. Let loose, she echoed, raising an eyebrow. That estrich coming from someone in a tailored suit. Touch, he said, feigning a pout. But ILL have you know that superheroes wear suits too. Claudia chuckled, feeling the tension dissolve a bit. Okay, Mr. Suit, what is your battle plan? First, I must gather my sword, he declared, waving an imaginary sword. Then I will duel the dragon. Anna returned, a crooked stick in hand, her face serious. I am ready. All right, brave knight, let us see what you've got. Oliver said dramatically, pointing his stick at her with an exaggerated flourish. With that, the afternoon transformed into a whirlwind of laughter and make-believe. Oliver and Anna ran around the makeshift castle, pretending to battle dragons and save kingdoms, Claudia watching with affection. Mommy, help, the dragoness getting me. Anna shrieked, feigning terror, and Claudia couldn't help but join in the fun. Fear not, brave knight, I shall protect you, she shouted, racing toward them and scooping Anna into her arms. Oliver laughed, an infectious sound that made Claudia's heart race. Your mother is truly the fiercest terror. Yes, Mommy is the best. Anna cheered, her laughter bubbling up like a melody. As they continued to play, Claudia felt her earlier worries fade away, replaced by pure, unadulterated joy. The happiness they shared was palpable, weaving an unbreakable thread among the three of them. But as the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting golden rays across the park, she felt the familiar pull of reality settle back in. The laughter was intoxicating, yet it reminded her of the fragility of such moments. Okay, I think it is time we wrap this up, Claudia announced, glancing at her watch. Already? Oliver's voice held a hint of disappointment. Yeah, we need to get back for dinner, she replied, her heart squeezing at the thought of this day ending. Will you come to the park again? Anna asked, her expression earnest. Of course, we'll have another dragon adventure, Oliver promised, shooting Claudia a look that held an unspoken question. As they packed up their makeshift castle, Claudia felt a twinge of regret. I really enjoyed today, she said, her voice sincere. Me too, Oliver replied, his tone genuine. Thank you for inviting me into your world. Claudia felt her cheeks warm, a flutter of something deeper igniting between them. It was special. Just like Sparkle's castle, he said, his eyes locked onto hers. For a moment, the worlds around them